Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of Riff Ram Review right here on 88.7 KTCU, The Choice. How's it going, everyone? I'm Zion Trammell here with Ian Napetian and Seth Dowdle here on this Tuesday. How are you guys doing today?
So far, so good. You know, I mean, we had to pivot to doing a show on Tuesday because there is women's basketball tomorrow night on Wednesday. But, I mean, so far doing well. Like I was saying to you guys off the show, just ready for Thanksgiving break. It's coming close, but the last couple days and the last week before, it's the longest period of time until it comes there. So,
and then you get Thanksgiving break, and then a rapid just jump to Christmas break all of a sudden. So we're kind of almost entering the best part of the fall semester.
Yeah,
it is. I heard my professor say a couple weeks ago that he was like, "I prefer spring semester," and I was like, "Yeah, because you get to teach us more." than you do in the fall whenever we get a break every other weekend,
Yeah.
which is nice. But I'm doing good, ready for Thanksgiving as well. Kind of feel like I'm drowning a little bit sometimes here with the school and all the other extracurricular activities, but we're chugging along and excited for a really good show tonight, hopefully.
Yeah, it should be fun. We got lots to talk about, and I just have to say the senioritis is definitely kicking in, though, for me. I'm graduating in December. It's back from high school. It's kicking me right now. So, but we've got lots to talk about in this episode, from college football to the NFL and the NBA, as well as a little MLB talk. But we're going to start here with TCU, as always. They played Texas Tech last week, and we're not going to talk about it that much because, honestly, it just didn't go very well, and it happened last Thursday. So we're going to be previewing the game against Texas. A big matchup here for the Longhorns, who are still looking to make a push for the college football playoff and certainly have their eyes set on a Big 12 championship. And for TCU, it's an opportunity to play spoiler and see what happens, really. I mean, what are your guys' expectations? You know, let's first talk about what has really gone wrong here for TCU as this season has started to crumble here.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's tough with TCU right now, and especially this season, is that it's not just one or two things. It's a multitude of things. Obviously, the roster turnover from last season was the biggest thing coming into this year, and then obviously with Chandler Morris getting injured. But even before that, it wasn't that Chandler Morris was the savior that people kind of asked him to be and expected him to be. Perhaps that was, unreasonable, which I do think it was, but yeah, I mean, this season, a lot has gone wrong. I think also at this point of the season, it's been really tough on the players as well. I think they're mentally drained. It's hard for them to kind of get up and say, "Hey, we've got another game and we got to push it again." I mean, this season feels so far gone, even though you're 4-5, only 4-5, and that there's still 3 games left, but these 3 games are against good opponents. So it's been tough this season. But hoping they can try to turn it around against Texas or get some sort of positive result from it.
What's gone wrong? So many things. So many things have gone wrong. I don't even know where to start, and I don't even know what to do about it because ever since that BYU game, I feel like it's watching just the most brutal suffering that I've ever seen on a football field. The BYU game contrasted with the last 2 weeks is so odd. I bet everyone would agree with that. And even the weeks prior to that, it's like, what happened against BYU? Did BYU now it's starting to feel like that was just more like a BYU problem than a TCU success story.
Yeah.
If anything else, right?
I agree.
And there's a lot of questions revolving coordinators and head coach, game planning and whatnot. And I have no interest in discussing those here because that just will take us down a rabbit hole that I don't think any of us want to go down at this exact moment. Because, like y'all said, TCU has an excellent opportunity to play spoiler. They get to do the thing that Texas was trying to do last year when TCU went down to Austin. While Texas' season was in a much better place than TCU is this year last year. TCU can pretty much single-handedly derail their college football playoff hopes if they can beat them. That's a long shot, but if they can, then you're waving goodbye to the Longhorns and also waving goodbye to their playoff hopes.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity for what will likely be the last matchup between these two teams in who knows how long. I mean, it is going to be the last one for quite some time, but TCU's had some success recently against Texas in the last few years, and hey, what's one more win? But it's really hard to have optimism at this point because, like you said, Seth, that BYU win was is really actually sandwiched in between 2 straight losses. So you've lost 4 of your last 5, and it really felt like the offense is lost its touch, I guess. I don't know if it's ever really been there, but I don't know. I was fairly disappointed to see that they didn't really show up too much there against Texas Tech until the end. They started to make it a close game, but I don't think the score necessarily reflects how that game went.
Yeah, and kind of going back to, I guess, conversations that we have all had prior to this episode and in previous episodes at that, I think one of the biggest things is the tempo at which this offense runs. And I know, Seth, you're very adamant about this, is that, look, this is a quick-tempoed offense, that's fine, but Josh Hoover is a very young quarterback. And if you need to adjust that for your quarterback, you need to make those adjustments. You can't keep running it with perhaps a quarterback that can't keep up with that type of high-tempoed offense. And I think it goes back to the idea that TCU has failed to make adjustments in most of the games it's played, whether that's an offensive adjustment or a defensive adjustment. This team doesn't do well when they're down, when they're having to come back. And when they're ahead, it seems like they can stay ahead unless it's a shootout like we saw against Colorado. But outside of that, this team really fails to make adjustments, and I think it begins with, not even having the best offensive system or the best offensive style paired up with a good enough quarterback. So it's been frustrating all season, and there's really nothing else to say about that. It's been a frustrating season for the fans, but even more for the players and coaches who do this every day and wake up every day and practice, But again, I think what TCU can try to do in bringing this in going into this game is playing spoilers, right? This is kind of what we saw 2 years ago in 2021 when Baylor came to Amon G. Carter Stadium, right? Chandler Morris started the game. That was one of the best games in recent history for TCU. Why not do it again? I'm not saying that we can't, but it's going to be really tough.
They can do it again. You know what, guys? They can do it again. This is the game of the year, the Super Bowl of sorts. Usually, we'll put all our chips on the table for that Baylor game. No. You lose to Baylor this year, it's fine. Just if you can manage a way to send these wet farts from Austin back home with a loss, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, we'll see. It's sort of a challenge here because this was kind of this part of the schedule where we all looked at the beginning of the season like, man, this is going to be a very challenge. With Kansas State at Lubbock and then Texas, Baylor, and Oklahoma. I just wonder where things are right now in that locker room, knowing that you have 2 matchups against very, very difficult opponents, and then a home game against Baylor, and that's going to be very feisty and a rivalry game. So, yeah, I'm not really sure where we will expect things to go for TCU. What I'm interested to see, though, is the offensive line going up against this Texas front because it's one of the better ones in college football, and it's going to be a lot to handle. So I'm praying for Josh Hoover. Hopefully the offensive line can protect him a little bit.
Yeah, I'm really concerned with how the Texas D line is going to affect the TCU offense in both the passing and the rushing game. TCU has a very strong running back in Amani Bailey. Last week it was really tough for him to get going against Texas Tech. But again, it's like, look, if our O-line can't give Hoover the protection he needs to at least get, to drop back in the pocket, have some time and look at his options, then you go to the running game. But if your O-line can't get any push, if you can't win that line of scrimmage, it's going to be a long night down in Austin.
Yeah, and also there is the idea of playing 2 quarterbacks with Quinn Ewers and Malik Murphy. I'm curious to see how they, because they are game planning for that. That's what they mentioned today in the press conference.
They never seem to game plan well for that.
Yep.
Yeah,
they never do. Every single time it's like, we're game planning for 2 quarterbacks. It's like, well, then you lose.
Yep.
Yeah. Every single time. Even last year, right, they would win those games, but it'd be like super nail bite. And a lot of the games last year were nail biting, but it seemed like the ones where there were dual. And we've talked about this multiple times this year, where there was a dual system quarterback, or like there was some sort of injury that might prevent the starting quarterback from not playing, but then he ends up playing. They would never perform well, at least at the start. They would usually get their act together because they were a more talented team, but that's not the case this year, right? A lot of young talent, which all of this has been talked out at length this entire season, which I feel like at this point we're all repeating the same points over and over again about how this has just been a stinker and there's just been a lack of adjustments and whatnot. But if there is a week where they're going to get up right for a game, it would feel like it would be this one, and you would kind of. I know you can't predict a game just based on vibes, which I have done multiple times. This has been documented multiple times where I have picked a game just based purely off of vibes. I think if you were going to do that, this would be the week where you would say, hopefully, you would hope that coaching staff and those players know the significance of this and that they would get up. That is something that I'm not going to bet on, though, but given the history of this season. They didn't get up for Colorado. How you don't get up for that, I don't understand, right? It's the first game of the season. You're coming off a national championship appearance, and Dion's coming to town. They didn't get up. You know how you not get up for Kansas State, the team that just beat you in the Big 12 championship? I don't get how you don't get up for that. So there's a lot of cases where you would think that they would have, but they haven't. So maybe they will this week, maybe they won't. We'll have to see. I just hope that they put up a good fight.
Well, it is not up to us to see, whether TCU will wake up. They have to do it themselves. So let's talk about it, though. Will TCU wake up? Let's do our score predictions. Seth, you want to start?
I do want to start.
Okay.
I just said I won't pick off vibes. I am.
What was it, 30 seconds ago that we just went over this?
Yes, it was. But I'm a man of contradictory statements, and this is another one right now. TCU will win the football game. I have been correct 2 out of the last 3 times, maybe even more than that. I think I picked TCU to lose a couple times. We'll see. And they have lost a lot, and I've been correct. But I've picked the last 2 losses, and I almost got the score prediction right last week. I think I picked 35-21.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm the GOAT. This week, TCU, the same score that Max Duggan beat Texas back in 2019 when the Horned Frogs were in those red blood jerseys for the first time. I believe the score was 38-28. Sam Ellinger threw 5 picks in that game. That will not happen in this game, but maybe it will. Who knows?
It was 37-27, but what
37-27.
Yeah,
37-27.
Oh, that's your score?
Yeah, 37-27.
So, yeah, I mean, fun fact, though, in 2019, I was a Texas fan. So, before switching to TCU, yeah. So I remember that game. I was like, this dude, Max Duggan, man, is killing us. And
Traitor over here, Zion.
Yeah, I know.
He was a traitor, like, both ways. Like, he betrayed TCU, and then he betrayed Texas.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm betraying TCU again because I'm picking Texas to win this football game 31-17. It's just going to be a really tough fight. I think Texas is going to be motivated to stay on track and keep their eyes on the college football playoff. And so that defensive line, I think, is going to overwhelm TCU.
This is significant because Zion has been the eternal optimist in this building for the entire time, and he's finally jumped off.
I know. I've picked TCU the last couple of weeks, hoping I'd be right.
Well, he's been wrong over the last 3 picks, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's where all this.
Did you pick BYU to win?
I did pick BYU to win, and so I really hope I'm wrong. I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's tough against this Texas team. So UT 31-17. Still horns down, though.
And Horn Froggy up.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, do you want my score prediction?
Yeah, what's your score prediction?
All right, I'll make this short and sweet. I hope I'm wrong, but Texas 38-17.
Oof.
Yeah, I was close to saying 38-24. I don't know, but I'll go Texas 38-17. No explanation from me. Just this has been a tough year. I don't think this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, we'll see. It's at Saturday, 6:30 on ABC.
That's right.
Barstool Sports will be there.
Put the Frogs in prime time. Everyone wants to see this.
Yeah, it's a little not the best timing.
Are they going to really send Kirk and Chris down here for?
They might.
I'm so sorry to them.
Where's ESPN Game Day?
I'm not sure. It's not here.
Yeah,
I know
well, it's
that.
definitely not here.
That'd
It
be
could
cool
have been if TCU was a little better, but
That would
Oh
be
yeah,
cool if it was.
definitely could have been. Let's see. Let's see where it is. I think it's in Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia and
So
Ohio. Is it Georgia Ohio State?
No,
Who's playing?
Ole Miss. Georgia
Oh,
Ole
that's what it is. Sorry, I was like they're playing someone that's number 10, but I don't know why I said Ohio State.
yeah, Kirk Herbstreit's gonna have a long day there.
Well, they might. They you know what? If that game's on ESPN, they'll stay there. They won't do the night game.
Yeah.
But if that game's on CBS, then this doesn't matter. Texas TCU play on ABC. Tune in if you got the rabbit ears. You can watch this one because it's on broadcast television.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. But that'll wrap things up here for our TCU Texas preview. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about college football and the craziness in that past weekend. You're listening to Riff Ram Review right here on 88.7 The Choice.